Yes, hello and welcome to Season Wire, the platform where we speak truth to power. Make sure you smash that like button, give us the subscribe, and of course share and leave comments. Shortly, we're about to hear President Tinubu of Nigeria at the UN. That doesn't mean that I'm supporting UN because UN is a talking shop and they really are not looking after the interests of Africa. We have no permanent seat at the UN. Just something to note. What I'd like to do is to urge you all to go ahead and subscribe to Season 1 on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. So let us hear the speech by President Tinubu. He's going to be welcomed in and then subsequently the speech. Let's listen on.
President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I invite him to take the floor.
Mr. President, Head of State and Government, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the people of Nigeria, I congratulate you on your well-deserved election as the President of this session of the United Nations General Assembly. We commend your predecessor, His Excellency Chaba Korochi, for his able stewardship of the Assembly also. We also commend His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for his work seeking to forge solutions to humanity's common challenges.
Are they really doing so? But anyway, let's listen.
This is my first address before the General Assembly. Permit me to say a few words on behalf of Nigeria, my country, on behalf of Africa, my continent, regarding this year's theme. Many proclamations have been made,
Still no permanent seat. We
our
should.
troubles remain close at hand. Failures in good governance have hindered Africa, but broken promises, unfair treatment, and outright exploitation from abroad have also exerted a heavy toll on our ability to progress.
Indeed. Indeed.
Given this long history, if this year's theme is to mean anything at all, it must mean something special and particular to Africa. In the aftermath of the Second World War, nations gathered in an attempt to rebuild their war-torn societies. A new global system was born, and this great body, the United Nations, was established as a symbol and protector of the aspiration and the finest ideas of humankind.
But is it really?
Nations saw that it was in their own interest to help others exceed the rubbles and wasteland of war. Reliable and significant assistance allowed countries emaciated by war to grow into a strong and productive society. The period was a high watermark for trust in global institutions and the belief that humanity had learned the necessary lessons to move forward in global solidarity and harmony. Today, for several decades, Africa has been asking for the same level of political commitment and devotion of resource that described the Marshall Plan.
Okay.
We realize that underlying conditions and causes of economic challenges facing today's Africa are significantly different from those of post-war Europe. We are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership. we seek enhanced international cooperation with African nations to achieve the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals. There are 5 points I want to highlight.
Okay.
First, if this year's theme is to have any importance at all and any impact, global institutions, other nations, and their private sector actors must see Africa as not just for Africa, but in the interest of us all as well. Due to both long-standing internal and external factors, Nigerians and Africans' economic structures have been skewed to impede development, industrial expansion, job creation, and the equitable distribution of wealth. If Nigeria is to fulfill its duty to its people, I know, and the rest of Africa, we must create jobs and the belief in a better future for our people. We are pushing for that. We must also lead by example, and we are doing so. To foster economic growth and investors' confidence in Nigeria, I removed the costly and corrupt fuel subsidy while also discarding a noxious exchange rate system in my first few days in office.
Yeah, but what's in place now, President
Other
Tinubu?
growth and job-oriented firms are in the wings. I'm mindful of the transient hardship that reform can cause. However, it is necessary to go through this phase in order to establish a foundation for durable growth and investment to build the economy our people deserve. We welcome partnership with those who not mind seeing Nigeria and Africa assume larger roles in the global community. The question is not whether Nigeria is open for business. The question is how much of the world is truly open to doing business with Nigeria, and how African is an equal, mutually beneficial manner. Direct investment in critical industries, opening airports to a wider range and larger quantity of African exports, and meaningful debt relief are important aspects of the cooperation we seek. Second, we must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as in any titled civilian political arrangement that is, will perpetuate injustice. The wave-crossing part of Africa does not demonstrate favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problem. Let us dig it deeper. Regarding Niger, we are negotiating with the military leaders. As chairman of ECOWAS, I seek to help establish democratic governance in a manner that addresses the political economy challenges confronting that nation, including violent extremists who seek to foment instability in our region. I extend a hand of friendship to all of you who may genuinely support this mission for a democratic governance in that nation. This brings me to my third crucial point. Our entire region is locked in protracted battle against violent extremists. In the turmoil, a dark channel of inhuman commerce has formed. Along the route, everything is for sale. Men, women, and children are seen as chattel. Yet, thousands reach the Sahara, hot and sand, and the Mediterranean cold death in search of a better life. At the same time, mercenaries and extremists with their lethal weapons and vile ideologies invade our region from the north. This harmful traffic undermines the peace and stability of the entire region. African nations will improve our economies so that our people do not risk their life to sweep the floors and streets of other nations. We also shall devote ourselves to disbanding extremist groups on our turf. Yet, to fully contain this threat, the international community must strengthen its commitment to arrest the flow of armed and violent people into West Africa. The fourth important aspect of this global trust and solidarity is to secure the continent's mineral-rich areas from plundering and conflicts. Many such areas have become catacombs of misery and exploitation. The Democratic Republic of Congo has suffered this for decades. Despite the strong UN presence there, what happened? The world economy owes the Republic of Congo much but gives her very little. The mayhem visited on resource-rich areas does not respect national boundaries. Sudan, Mali, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, and the list grow on and on and on. The problem also knocks at Nigeria's door. Foreign entities are baited by local criminals who aspire to be petty warlords have drafted thousands of people into servitude to illegally mine gold and other resources. Billions of dollars meant to improve the nation's economy now fuel violent enterprises. If left unchecked, they will threaten peace and place national security at a grave danger. Given the extent of this injustice and the high scales involved, many Africans are asking whether the phenomenon is by accident or by design. Members, nation, must
by design,
by working with us to deter their farms and nationals from the 21st century pillage of continent riches. Fifth,
code language.
climate change severely impacts Nigeria and Africa. Northern Nigeria is honored by desert encroachment, handed from the north. All are arable lands. Our south is pounded by the rising tide of coastal flooding and erosion. In the middle, the rainy season brings flood that kill and displace multitudes. As I lament death at home, I also lament the grave loss of life in Morocco and Libya. The Nigerian people are with you. Please note that. African nations will fight climate change, but must do so on fair and just terms. To achieve the need popular consensus, this campaign must accord with overall economic efforts. In Nigeria, we shall build political consensus by highlighting remedial actions which also promote economic good. Projects such as Green Wall to stop desert encroachment, halting the destruction of our forests by mass production and distribution of gas burning stoves, and providing employment in local water management and irrigation projects are examples of efforts that equally advance both economic and climate change objectives. Continental efforts regarding climate change will register important features if established economies were more forthcoming with public and private sector investment for Africa's preferred initiatives. Again, this will go far in demonstrating that global solidarity is real and working.
Interesting.
As I'm about to close, let me emphasize Nigeria's objective accord with the guiding principles of this world body. Peace, security, human rights, and development. In fundamental ways, nature has been kind to Africa, given abundant land, resources, and creative and industrious people. Yet, man has too often been unkind to a fellow man. And this sad
Code
tendency
language.
has brought sustained hardship to Africa's doorstep. To keep faith with the tenets of this world to this body, and
Make us a
this year's
permanent
assembly,
presidency of that area as well.
poverty
Permanent member.
of
A
nations
permanent member.
must end. The pillage of one nation's resources by overreach of farms and people of stronger nations must end.
Yep.
The will of the people must be respected. This beautiful, generous, and forgiving planet must be protected.
Yeah.
As for Africa,
Look at the
we
empty
seek
rooms.
to be neither appendage nor patron. We do not wish to replace old shackles with new ones. Instead, we hope to walk the rich African soil and live under the magnificent African sky, free of the wrongs of the past and clear of the associated encumbrances. We desire a beautiful, prosperous, vibrant, democratic living space for our people, where we do it. To the rest of the world, I say, work with us as true friends and partners. Africa is not a problem to be avoided, nor is it to be pitied. Africa is nothing less than the key to the world's future. I thank you for listening.
De l'Assemblée générale, je tiens à remercier.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the Republic of Nigeria for his statement, and I ask Protocol to please escort His Excellency. The Assembly will now hear an address.
So, that was an interesting speech by President Tinubu. That was okay. It wasn't bad. As speeches go, my first reactions to the speech is that he sounded pretty presidential. Please, this does not mean that I support, nor either support nor against the what is going on. I'm just an observer of what is really happening back home in terms of well, in Nigeria. What we will say is that, as I stated, he is the president, and nothing's going to change that. But the way and manner he answered, he posed some questions, pointed questions. He talked about some things about the UN, sort of not see Africa as something to be pitied, but as a partner, and saying that Africa is it mentioned chattel, our people effectively. It talked about exploitation, and it's very, very clear that Africa is actually should be viewed from a different perspective than what is currently being done, and the exploitation of our resources is something he mentioned a lot. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I am. There's still question mark in so many areas about things. But as speeches go, it had some impact, some interesting things. Let me see if I can pick out one or two. Let's just see if I can pick up one or two. Let's listen here for a second. I wonder if I can pick up something here.
And the equitable distribution of wealth. If Nigeria is to fulfill its duty to its people, I know, and the rest of Africa, we must create jobs and the belief in a better future for our people. We are pushing for that. We must also lead by example, and we are doing so. To foster economic growth and investors' confidence in Nigeria, I removed the costly and corrupt fuel subsidy while also discarding a noxious exchange rate system in my first few days in office.
Okay. Removing the subsidy. Okay. Trying to get rid of the dual naira rate. Maybe on paper you've done that, but the effects of things, it's a good idea. Good, I'm hoping that it will cement. But I think that one thing that is missing in that part of the puzzle is the refineries. I heard that Kaduna and Warri is being fixed by, as said by Angelele, injury, Angelele, I think injury, Angelele, I think I hope I'm saying it right. So we hope that happens. So yeah, but let me forward it. I want to talk about the colonial side of things.
Demonstrates favor towards coup. It is a demand for solution to perennial problem. Let us dig it deeper. Regarding Niger, we are negotiating with the military leaders as chairman of ECOWAS.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna forward it. I don't want to go into
our economies, so that our people do not risk their life to sweep the floors and streets of other nations.
Yeah.
We also shall devote ourselves to disbanding extremist groups.
There are some things that look promising there. The problem for me is that I think all too often in previous, UN things, there are often words and the actions don't follow. The words here seem to have impetus. They seem to be cutting the thrust it needs to cut. There's a lot of things. I even got an applause in a way which I thought was genuine. I think overall, yeah, I would say, yeah, let's watch the space. But I do think that having those refineries in place would answer a lot of problems. This palliative thing cannot solve anything without having our own manufacturing base. And that is what the oil industry, having the refineries functioning, would really address. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to do. I might come and dissect it again or talk to more about it, on the live broadcast. But first impressions are, yeah, very good statements, but it's the actions behind that statement that we will be watching closely. Because yeah, fine, words are cheap, but the actions, they are rarely the case. It costs, and you have to invest, and you have to be consistent. You have to put those words into action. And yeah, you need the team behind you, and of course, like I said, one of the things, in fact, I will have to talk about it. I mean, I'll mention briefly as I speak to you now. The naira is no more than 0.0016 of a cent. That is a problem of which the Western world has actually ensured that the price of our resources is less than 1 cent. 1 cent, and that means that they buy our resources on the cheap, and we are paying through the nose to buy the finished products, which leaves us impoverished in our own land, and they exploit. We need to put a stop to that. And that's the only thing I don't feel. That's the only thing I felt you didn't really address, in a way that was making it very, very clear. In coded language, I could see you talk about, getting of the dual interest rate and all of that, on the naira and all of that. The rate of the naira, having dual currency exchange rates, all that stuff. Yeah, it sounds promising. But anyway, so what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you're watching Season AY, the platform where we speak with the power. We're back later on. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to Season AY on YouTube. So subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. Help us grow the platform. What are your thoughts on the speech? I'll share tomorrow, and let's hear what your thoughts are on President Tinubu's speech. For now, I'll say thank you and bye for now. Thank you and bye for now. Bye.